Hi guys. The final piece of technology I want to mention, of course, is Google Translate. It's been out for over 10 years now. I remember when I used it back in my high school days, learning German and Spanish. It was not very polished, but it has come such a long way since then. It's really incredible just to see how accurate it's gotten. Um, it definitely excels at bulk translation, and what I mean by that is not word to word, but their word to word translation, context based translation, has gotten a lot better. It's almost on par with Spanish dictionary. It still requires internet access, so that's the one that's the one thing that Spanish dictionary has over Google Translate, I think. But it provides different tools. For instance, you can translate entire documents nowadays from English to Spanish. So um, that's really cool. The translations become much more accurate. I remember 10 years ago it was very hit and miss, but I know for a fact their Spanish translation is really on point. Any major language, German, French, Japanese, Chinese, it's going to be very, very accurate. Some of your less used languages like Romanian or Macedonian or Icelandic, languages that don't have a large amount of native speakers might not be quite as accurate, but I'm sure, give it 5, 10 more years, it's going to get there. I love Google Translate. It's great to hear native pronunciation. So if I just want to hear a native speak back to me, if I'm not sure how to pronounce a word, like, let's see, dog, for instance, you can click on this listen tool,
Perro.
perro. Um, okay, perro. So I can also speak to it in Spanish. Let's see here. Let's see. Yo estoy en la casa de Pedro. It's crazy how good it's gotten. Um, yo tengo un té caliente en la mano y tengo mucha sed. Tengo caliente. Okay, so it's not completely accurate. It misunderstood that phrase, but the fact that you can do that, the fact that it has that function nowadays is just incredible. The upload document function. So if you want to listen to how a native speaker speaks,
Tengo caliente.
right, it's a great tool. If you want to translate an entire sentence, it's a great tool. Like I said, it's not quite as good as context-based translation. So we looked up the same word in our Spanish dictionary tool, cerdo. It does tell you the definition, but it doesn't really tell you in which context you can use it. But it does. It should have idioms. Let's see here. Let's switch. Pig. So yeah, what's cool is it tells you the frequency of each word. So pig, the most common translation is cerdo. It doesn't tell you what country uses each word. So if I'm in Chile, for instance, I wouldn't know that chancho is actually more common than cerdo. So that's the one thing Spanish dictionary does better context. But it's definitely getting there. I think it's just a matter of time where Google Translate will end up defeating some of the lesser known translation websites out there. It's starting to have examples, well, in English, not as many in Spanish, but it should have idioms down here somewhere. Um, but anyhow, Google Translate's a great tool. I think my students probably use it once every day, if not every other day, for different homework projects and whatnot. If I'm not able to attend to them, if they need help translating something, usually they come to me first. But if I'm busy with somebody else, it's a great tool that they can use to learn Spanish. Obviously, you're not going to become fluent using Google Translate. You're not going to become fluent using Spanish Dictionary, but it is just a great overall tool you can use to promote foreign language learning. The one thing Spanish Dictionary still has over Google Translate is Google Translate does require an internet connection. They're both free resources, but what's neat about Spanish Dictionary is you can download the application and not worry about not having an internet connection. So both great tools used for different things.